Hey, what is up, guys? This is me, Amish, back with another one-take tutorial. This one, super simple, just doing it live. It's this one is for all the people out there that would like to get into decorating houses and in-rooms, but are kind of intimidated. This is just a super duper quick rundown of how to use the interior decorator tool and a very simple way to actually make it work very nicely. So first we'll just go over the menu itself. So at the top you rotate, so some items can be rotated 90 degrees. This is what you would do. You just click it and then you could keep turning things. So like these books, for example, I can turn those constantly. So it's easier for you guys to see. Ooh. Rotate. So there you go. All the books keep turning. That's what that one does. Next is Z plus and Z minus. This is for the height of an item. So if I wanted to move the books up and down, you could do that. And that's how you move that up and down. So Z minus goes down, obviously. And Z plus goes up. Now, X minus, Y minus, X plus, and Y plus. This is your directions. So if I wanted to move this book to the... well, hold on. I wanted to move the book to the right a little. See, it says down in the window, it cannot move further in that direction. So that is where this comes in handy, the recover last. So now, if I double click recover last, that pulls your last targeted item directly to your feet. So now the books are here instead of here. So now, if I wanted to move that around, I could. So that simple. It will not allow you to push items through a player. So if you're standing here in the way, it will not be able to go north anymore. But you just gotta move out of the way or go around yourself. And next is the buttons, the common sense buttons, I say. So common sense buttons. Lockdown, that means the item itself, like the books, that is locked down. Lockdown and secure are two different things. So secure is used for chest. So these chests are secure. The book is locked down. Lockdown is usually just for decorating items. So that means this takes one slot in the lockdowns that is in the house menu. So my house has a 2,275 available slots to lock things down and 13 secure locations. So I could have 13 secured boxes and a lot of lockdown items. Release, obviously, if you release the item, it means you could pick it back up off the ground. Everything that you want to move in the interior decorator tool has to be locked down or secured. Otherwise, it doesn't count as part of the housing system, I guess you can call it. It's there, it's just not part of the stuff that you can move. So it has to be locked down or secure. Recover last, we just did that. That will pull that to my feet. Fantastic feature. So the reason you use something like that is I'll use this as an example. So say we're raising the books as high as we can. I'm going to use my little macro that I'll go over in a second. So say we raise this and we want it to look like it's on top of these books. We could do that, but it's eventually going to vanish like that. And it's going to go through the floor and up into the ceiling. So that means it's either upstairs or we don't know where it's at. So then you hit recover last. And since that was the last target that we clicked on, even though it's upstairs and out of our line of sight, we can pull it directly down to our feet. So that is one of the better features, definitely. And then last and not least is the survey feature. So survey, what this does is if you're done, or if you want to see if anything's unlocked or missing that you just can't see, you can hit survey. So if I were to release those books and then hit survey, they'll say, hey, that's an insecure item on your floor, and it'll show you where it's at. And this is very handy if you have decorations that do cost a bit of money. So now you're never going to lose it for the most part. And then close, all that does is close this menu. And then you're going to have survey on close. So if I close this, then it still surveys the house, so then you can see anything that you left behind by accident. Now, this is the main feature of this video. This is what I wanted to help people with. So normally, if I were to move these bookshelves, normally you would have to do this all manually, and then you say you accidentally click on your carpet instead of your books. That sucks. Now you have to go find your carpet and move it back. So you have to manually do that instead of doing it this way. So now the way to get around this is a handy little feature. So all of the cardinal directions and the rotate, if you have one clicked, so if I have Z plus clicked, that means this cursor is always going to be trying to raise up in altitude. So this cursor, all you have to do is go into Razor and hit the hotkeys button, go to targets, and then scroll down until you see last target. I have mine bound to my mouse and an alt button. So now if I have this set up like this, I can make it super duper user friendly. So now I can raise this up instead of actually having to go and click it myself. So take for example this stone out here, this what is this called, a standing stone. So I wanted something in the middle of my courtyard, so it actually looks like there's some nice decorations there. So how did I get that? I could here, we'll do this. So you'd think right here would be the center, and I mean it technically is. It doesn't look amazing because it's under my plants, because I have my plants leveled at different tiers. So if you wanted to play a mind trick, I guess you can call it, where you do perspective, you just bring it forward, or east one, south one, and then you raise it up with Z. So now, instead of it actually being in this location, it is down here in front of me in this little square. So now this rock looks like it's in the center, but it's also on top of everything. So I mean, it's a handy little feature. You don't need to have it like this, but this is just a tiny example. Another example I could give you for the perspective shift, we will do this. This is one that I actually struggled with for a little bit. So we're just going to do this down here, for example. We'll pull that down, and then we're going to bring the brain down as well. So the brain and the jar are two separate items, as you can see. So the brain and the jar are two separate items. We want the brain to look like it's in the jar. But first, you can see the jar looks like it's clipped into the ground. So we're going to raise the jar a little. And then now we're going to get the brain. And if we put the brain in the exact tile of the jar, it's not really gonna look too well. They overlap each other. So if I try to raise it, it looks like the brain is just in the jar. But if I raise the jar again, the jar itself is just gonna overlayer the brain. So how do we get around this? We do the perspective shift. So now the jar is on this level. We go down to this tile right here, right below it. So now we raise that up, and then you can slightly scale it to look like it's at the bottom of the jar when it's actually in this tile right here instead of actually inside the jar. So that is a very handy decoration tip. So this is all I can really give you guys right now is some tips. If you do need any more decoration help, I could try and give you some advice. My interior decorating skills is not on par with what I would like it to be, but it's better than most. I'm better at dealing with exterior, if you couldn't tell from my courtyard. So exterior, super easy. You don't have to be super realistic with the exterior because nature is not normal. So like all the vines are just stacked up random vines at different shifting tiers. This, if you couldn't tell, is actually a bunch of planters on a bunch of stairs. So then that blocks my stairs, but it makes it look like I have a raised garden bed right up here. So I have a whole bed of flowers that just looks like it was designed that way. I can't use these stairs, which sucks, but I wasn't really planning on using them that much either. So then you have like stuff like this. This dirt, the furrows, which you can get from the prep vendor, that you could walk on that, but I raised it high enough so it could look like it's lined with the fence. Otherwise, it doesn't look very good. So I had to raise that up, but the tile is just a little too high for me to be able to walk on top of it. So now I can't use that 3 squares of my garden right there. But that's not a bad deal because it just looks really good. So that is all for decorating, guys. I will upload this, and I hope this helps you guys out. If you're if you want to take some steps into interior decorating or decorating in general, this is a super handy feature. So I will see you guys around. Thank you for stopping by. Have a fantastic night.